right, fellas. People have been waiting on this. I had a little hiccup. I don't know why it froze, but it happened. I would like to welcome you to the most professional Chris Van Pelt show. I got notes this time, y'all. I came ready. Joe's been on my butt. I came ready, y'all. MVP, names, list, everything. I came prepared this time, fellas. I told you I was gonna get to know some of you guys, and I went out there and did it, and I got prepared. So we got a bunch of topics I'm gonna get to. We're gonna start from the good to the bad. Then we're gonna go to the draft. We're gonna go good, bad. We're gonna go draft, and then we're gonna talk about offense, defense, rookie of the years, MVP, stuff like that at the end. So, I'm starving. So, with that being said, shout out to Joe and the Packers. Shout out to Joe and the Packers of lasting 8 weeks so far. Technically 7 because we are currently in week 8. But he's on a bye. So congratulations to Joe for lasting the first half of the season unscathed, the only team to do it. The Niners are kind of in that category, being that the Niners didn't lose any games to a user. I'm just saying. But no disrespect. Shout out to Joe. Props for that, bruh. Like I said, the only user to finish the first half of the year with no L's. So that is something to be said. I mean, it's a hard thing to do, and especially in a league with this much parity, to get that far without any losses. I mean, especially for a guy, last man wasn't the greatest, but congratulations to Joe. Secondly, we're going to talk about the Packers. We're going to talk about the Niners, the Giants, and the Cowboys. Now, out of these three, it's arguable to say, I mean, you don't really know because the Giants and Cowboys have played and the Niners and Cowboys couldn't play each other. But on paper right now, if you had to give the nod to one of the three, my opinion, I think I'd give a nod to the Giants. I'm looking at their schedule. I mean, he lost bad to Ryan, and this is my honest opinion, and I'm gonna tell you why. He lost bad to Ryan, but he went out there and beat the Niners, the Lions, who were ran by Zach. Zach from paper 4-3, looking good. He's getting up there. That's a good win. Cameron played him tough. I mean, he had DeForest, so we can't really say much about that one. He beat freaking Nando, so that's a good win. I think his name is Fabian. I don't know why I said Fernando. Fabian. He beat Fabian. That's not an easy thing to do. I mean, he had DeForest versus the Giants, but it looks like they played, and he ended up winning that game anyway versus the Chargers. And then he went out there and beat a great fucking Jordan Weens. How the fuck you say his last name? He went out there and beat Jordan. Very good user. And then he went out there and got a force versus the franchise, but Seattle was terrible anyway, so he would have won that game. Wow. I read that wrong. He went out there and beat the Seahawks. No force. He went out there and beat them. Beat them convincingly. So, that's why, I mean, he got Zach with the Lions, and then he got the Broncos. 2 quality wins. Looking at the Cowboys, I mean, he beat McHale first game of the season, but, I mean, you can argue that he was just trying to get used to his team that game. And then you look at the rest of the schedule. I mean, he had a very convincing win versus the Broncos, but it looks like that took a lot of games to play. So, I mean, by the 5th time you play a game, you're kind of not really, you like, who fucking cares? He mudhole stomped the Cardinals and the Rams, but he should have. And then he lost to the Packers 21-27, and he had to force over me. These next few games, I think we'll see where Ryan is. I mean, The NFC East has a really easy schedule based off users. I mean, he got Brent next. That's going to be a tough one. And then he has Ian, who's not that good. The guy with the Falcons, I wrote his name down. Hold on. Hold, please. Raymond, I think his name is. The other Raymond. Yeah. The other Raymond. It looks like him and Julio are killing it, so that could be a problem. But who knows? And then he has Cameron. That should be an easy one. Brian is an easy one. Brett again. Then he has Mikal. And then he has the Raiders guy. I wrote down his name too. Rich Green. Rich Green. I think that's going to be a very interesting game, as I believe Rich will be fighting for a playoff spot, but I'll get to that later. And then he finishes off with the Seahawks, and I know he got a couple of games. I mean, the only real games for Ryan that you can see he could lose to is maybe one of the Redskins games. I think the Falcons could give him an upset, and I think Mikal might get him the second game. So on paper, it looks like Ryan should finish 13-3, 12-4. I mean, like I said, he already got one loss. I think Brett might win one of them. I think Mikal could get the next one, and I think Rich Green could be an upset pick. So with those three, he will finish 12-4, which is great and should get him a bye week depending on what's going on with the other teams in the NFC. But we'll see how that goes. And then only if I say the Niners are worse, there's two reasons. I have the worst team out of all of them, but then it's my schedule. And this is why I really put myself as, I think I'll come out the NFC West, but I think I'll get the 3 seed and not the 4, not the 1 or the 2. Unless Joe and Ryan just completely stink it up. And this is why. After week 10, week 8 and 9, I got Cameron and what's his name? I got Cameron Ken Broyles. That's week 8 and 9. And then week 10, I got Mikal. Bye week. Jorge should be an easy one. Then I got the owner, the commission, Raymond. Then I got Larry and the Texans. Then I got what's old dude name? I wrote his name down too. Mario and the Titans. And then I got Godfrey and the Jaguars. And then I finished the year off with an easy one versus Drew. Now, the thing with that is, what the fuck is everybody blowing my shit up for? But the thing with that is, you see those 4 games or so. And you see, after week 10, from week 10 to week 17, those 8 games, I got Jaguars, Titans, Texans, Bears, and Giants. I have very 5 losable games because my team, 1 isn't that good. So I have to play damn near perfect. And we all know perfect is hard to achieve in Madden sometimes. Sometimes Madden just has it out for you. So out of those 5 games, I could lose all 5. I could finish 11-5. I mean, right now I'm 6-1. So even if I lost 5 out of my last, what is that, 8? 5 out of my last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Even if I lost 5 out of my last 7, that's only puts me at 6 losses. So that's 2 wins, and I should win the next 2. So that will put me at, if I win the next 2, that puts me at 8-1. And then if I win those 2, that puts me at 11-1. So I should be able to finish at 11-5, 10-6, somewhere around there. But that is why I think the Giants have a better chance than me and Ryan to get that bye week, just because of the schedules. The schedules are just more favorable for the Giants. I mean, he has the Cowboys, he got the Raiders, he got the Redskins twice. Outside of those 4 games, and myself week 10, so 5 games, he has a pretty easy schedule. I mean, and that's just that. He's beating everybody he should beat, and then we'll see if he can compete with some of the better teams. With that being said, next up we go to the AFC, and we're going to highlight the Bengals and James Powell, who kind of hit their stride. Thank you, Browns. I mean, Browns are kind of always a kicking off point for every team in the league. You play the Browns, it kind of turns your year around. But he played the Browns 4 games ago, won, got his first win of the season, and hasn't looked back. Beat a tough Bills squad and Jay White. He beat Rich and took out Big Ben, which might have ended Rich's season and really gave him a leg up in that division. And then he beat a good David squad in Indianapolis, who has a very high-power offense, but held him to 7 points. He's hitting his stride with that defense. That defense in Cincinnati has figured it out, and they're dominating. These next 3 are gonna determine where the Bengals really are, though, because they come up, they got the Jaguars, they got the Titans, and then they got Jordan and the Broncos, and then they get an easy game versus the Browns, and they got Steelers, Bears, and then they get then they get an easy game, and they finish it off with Lions and Ravens. There's some tough games in there. Out of their last, what is this? So they got 7 games. So out of their last 9, the only one you can kind of call easy based off records is Vikings and Browns. But let's not forget, Leon is no slouch. So maybe Leon will figure it out by week 15, and that won't even be a given. These next games will really find out what the Bengals are about. If the Bengals can get in the playoffs and win that division, you got to give them a front runner. And on that note, the Steelers, who I made a post talking about the Steelers versus somebody in the AFC South, and ever since I made that post, my bad, Rich, Big Ben has gotten injured, and their season looks over. He's only out about 5-6 more weeks. I don't think he had a season-ending injury. I think it was a broken collarbone or something like that. But in those next 6 games, he has a bye week. He has the Colts, Titans, Packers, Bengals, Ravens, Patriots. If he doesn't come back by week 15, he should be back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He should be back. He should be back versus the Ravens week 14, week 15 versus the Patriots at the latest. They have the toughest schedule left. They got the Colts, at Colts. Titans come there. Packers come there. At Bengals. Ravens come home. Patriots come home. At Texans. And then one easy game versus the Browns. Let me tell you how hard this schedule is. Texans, second in the division. Texans, tied for first. Ravens, second. Bengals, second. Packers, best team in the league. Titans, tied for first. Colts, tied for third. All these teams, none of the teams he has left has a losing record, and all are battling for division crowns. He has the toughest schedule left. And without Big Ben, I might have jinxed him. And I think, unless he goes out there and trade for a quarterback right now, week 8, and goes out there and get a quarterback before advance, his season might be over. Just on paper, do you see him beating the Titans without Big Ben? He hung up 7 on the Lions. Hung up 7 on the Bengals without Big Ben. Do you see Josh Dobbs beating the Colts? Maybe. Like I said, Colts running game, if he can't run, it's kind of easy. So if you can stop the run, you might be able to win that game. He got the linebackers in front 7 to stop the run. But Titans, very balanced attack. Packers, best team in the league, one of the top defenses. You're not beating them. Titans have 2 people up for MVP. We'll get to that later. Well, they have one. Another one I could have, but I didn't want to crowd it up too much. But they have a defensive MVP on there. Bengals, killing it. Ravens, killing it. Patriots, got Tom Brady, who's MVP. We'll note that later. Then we got the Texans just playing good team ball. Steelers might be done, yeah. I don't know. The Steelers might be done. But next, we talk about the jam-packed AFC, like I just kind of hinted at. The AFC right now, I questioned if it was top-heavy, and I was really, really wrong. These last couple weeks, like I said, I made that post Friday, Saturday. But since these last 2 advances, we got the Texans, the only team with 1 loss. Pound it, Larry. But then you got the Titans right there, Mario. Steelers and Rich. Ravens and Carlos. Broncos and Jordan. Jay White and the Bills at 4-2. Patriots at 4-3. Colts 4-4. Jaguars and what's that guy?